Hey guys, exciting news today. We have a leak for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, and it lines up with some things I've been hearing about recently. So yeah, I can confirm Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 is definitely a thing, and right now we actually have a brand new leak for it. So let's recap a little bit. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl ended with the roster looking like this, after one batch of DLC ending with Rocco. They then released a physical copy of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl called the Ultimate Edition that had all the DLC included. At first it wasn't clear if this Ultimate Edition was only going to be an overseas release, but no, I've seen it on store shelves myself. At the end of Rocco's moveset breakdown video, they said stay tuned for more, and we weren't sure if that meant more characters, more DLC, or what, especially after this Ultimate Edition that said it was going to include all of the DLC was going to be released. So why did they say stay tuned for more after that Rocco video? We did eventually get crossplay shadow dropped into the game, so that happened, so maybe that's what they were talking about with the stay tuned for more, but still it was a little strange. It really felt like they meant more characters or something more than crossplay, which had been promised for a long time. A little while back, a leak did appear for what seemed to be Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, or what could be that anyway. It had some images of Squidward, an image of Danny Phantom, and an image of Patrick doing a new attack. An attack where Patrick smacks someone with his house, which is of course a reference to the SpongeBob show. Now at the time, this was a possibility to explain the stay tuned for more. Maybe a sequel was in the works, but personally I hadn't heard anything myself. Now Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is no stranger to leaks. We had Garfield and many of the characters leak, so it wouldn't be that surprising if a sequel was happening that something like this Squidward leak could be legitimate. But again, up until that point, I hadn't heard anything myself. Whereas the end of the DLC, like stuff with Rocco, I had actually heard a lot about Rocco before he happened, so I figured if a sequel were happening, I would have heard about it to some extent, but I hadn't at that time. A little while later, we also had this potential leak. It's just a blurry image of a possible title screen. Unsure about this one, but this happened as well. Game Mill Entertainment released Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 Slime Speedway, so it's possible they could be moving on to another Nickelodeon game, possibly Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. But once again, at that time, I had not heard anything about a sequel, so all these potential leaks that were popping up, I couldn't back them up. If you followed my coverage of the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl DLC, you'll know that my Rocco video was very on point. I predicted many things that actually did happen for Rocco, and that was because I did have a source that was telling me stuff. Well, now that same source has told me Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 is in fact happening. I'm still unsure if the Squidward and Patrick and Danny Phantom leak we got before is legit or not. I just know that a Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 is definitely happening. And now we have a new leak, which leads me to believe that yes, that old leak probably was legitimate, and this new one is probably legit as well. The new leak is 2 images, and they are of what appears to be the box art for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. What's leading me to believe this one is almost certainly legitimate is that I was told about 2 new characters that would be in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 from my source. They told me Jimmy Neutron and Vlad Plasmius from Danny Phantom would be in the game, and both of them are on this box art cover, whatever artwork that we have here leaking. But there are some other new characters here too. Alright, so if you look at it, we have Jenny, SpongeBob, Patrick, Cora, and you can see Garfield's ear in the bottom corner of that one image with Jimmy. Obviously, Jimmy Neutron is very centered here, so he's obviously in the game, and we can see Raphael also very clearly. So Raphael would be the 3rd of the 4 turtles to be in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. In the background behind SpongeBob, you can see Vlad Plasmius, and again, I was told Jimmy and Vlad would be in the sequel, so they're on this box art here, so yeah, I think this is almost certainly legit since it's lining up with what I had already heard. If you look real close down at the bottom of the image with Jimmy Neutron, you can see what appears to be the top of Squidward's head, so very likely those old leaks might have been real as well. We are almost certainly getting Squidward, as I do believe that is the top of his head in this image. I don't know for sure if all the old characters are going to remain on the roster for the sequel, but I would suspect they probably will. I was told that Hugh Neutron would be in the game, and I think if Hugh's in the game, plus the characters we're seeing in this leaked artwork, we probably are going to get the full cast of the first game back for the sequel. Among, of course, some newcomer characters like Raphael, Squidward, Vlad, and Jimmy Neutron. So our base game roster is lining up to look somewhat like this for now. I also think with them adding Raphael, it's probably safe to assume the 4th turtle, Donatello, will be here as well. So here's what the roster for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 looks to be shaping up like for now. But of course, we could get lots more characters than that. Who knows for sure? Here's some concept art that they originally made for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl to kind of pitch the game or show off what they were going for. And there's lots of characters in this concept art that we don't have. We don't even have in this, apparent sequel. This concept art has Raphael and Jimmy Neutron, who are now apparently in the sequel, but it also has Reggie Rocket, Crumb from Our Real Monsters, Casey Jones, Wanda from Fairly OddParents, and Angelica from Rugrats. All characters we did not get in the first game, but apparently they had on their mind when they were creating the game. I also think Zuko from the Avatar series is pretty darn likely. He's a very popular character, very popularly requested for the first Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl game, and he would really round out the Avatar characters we have here very well since he's a firebender, and that's like the last nation we're missing. He was also a part of Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 Slime Speedway, so I think it's pretty likely Zuko will show up as well. Rugrats always seemed really underrepresented in the first Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. I don't know if it's something to do with not wanting babies to fight. I don't know if that would be something that would maybe make the game have a tough rating or tough to get past the censors or whatever, having babies get hurt. I don't know, but it does seem like a Rugrats character should probably show up, especially with things like Danny Phantom getting an extra rep. I feel like Rugrats should have someone at least more than just Reptar representing the series. Now, Timmy Turner and Fairly OddParents is like the most requested thing for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, so I don't know if the Nelvana legal rights stuff is going to prevent him from getting in or not. He's gotten into some games, other games in the past, but for some reason, the Game Mill Entertainment games seem to not be able to use Fairly OddParents. I don't know what's up with all that. I really hope they can get the rights to use him, but he's sort of a 50-50. I think he really is all about depending on whether or not they can get the rights from Nelvana or if that is just something that's impossible and just makes him, not eligible for the game. I'm sure if they can get the copyright rights to use him, they probably would add him, as he is the most requested character I see on like all the fan polls. Obviously, anybody in that pitched concept art seems pretty likely to me, as we already have Raphael and Jimmy Neutron now confirmed for the sequel, and they're both in that pitched concept art. But other characters like Angelica, who would be a Rugrats rep, Wanda, if they can get the Fairly OddParents right, maybe they'll go with Wanda instead of Timmy Turner, I don't know, and Reggie Rocket, if they want to add like a new series like Rocket Power, that would make sense to me. And they could add other new franchises. We have Jimmy here representing the Jimmy Neutron show, but we already had Hugh for that, and we have Vlad, who represents Danny Phantom, but we already had Danny for that. But we could get other new shows that don't have any representation yet, such as Angry Beavers, El Tigre, Chalk Zone. There's a ton of them that aren't yet represented in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. It would be great to see and have great fighter potential to add to the roster. Well, whatever other newcomers get added to the roster, I do hope the full original cast from Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 1 is here. I suspect they probably will be, and I do think this is a pretty good start to a great base game roster for the sequel. Getting another SpongeBob rep makes a lot of sense. SpongeBob's such a huge series, and Squidward is definitely the most requested character, so I think Squidward's a great addition here. Adding the two missing Ninja Turtle characters is just, it basically has to happen, so very glad to see Raphael, and I imagine if Raphael's here, I can't see them only doing 3 out of the 4 turtles. They already did 2 out of the 4, but 3 out of the 4 just feels weird. It would be too much of a, I don't know, just hateful thing to do to just Donatello to kick just him out. So I do think we'll probably get Raphael and Donatello, all 4 turtles. I think Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 1 was the only game to ever not feature all 4 turtles. If the turtles are in a video game, all 4 of them are there, except for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 1. So that was very, very, very odd that they omitted Raphael and Donatello. So glad to see Raphael on the leaked artwork there. Donatello almost certainly is going to happen as well. And then Vlad is sort of a surprise choice. I saw him on some fan polls. He definitely has his fans out there, and he probably has an awesome moveset. Like, he's a really cool character in Danny Phantom, and I like Danny Phantom, so I'm happy to see that show get another rep. And that also gives good chance of a lot of the series that only had 1 rep before potentially getting another rep. Maybe Rocco could get Heifer or something like that. Maybe Zim could get Dib or Professor Membrane. Maybe Hey Arnold could get more than just Helga. Maybe you could actually get Arnold in the game. And then, of course, Jimmy Neutron's here, and that's another one of those series that only had 1 rep. Hugh, and now it has Hugh and Jimmy, and it does really just feel like Jimmy should be here. And speaking of Jimmy, I really also do hope that Timmy Turner or something Fairly OddParents does happen for this game, but I know that's probably a rights issue thing in the end. And then big Nickelodeon series like Rugrats and Avatar, I almost think are basically guaranteed to get another rep, unless something is off with the Rugrats having the babies fight for whatever reason. I really feel like we'll get another Rugrats rep. I'm putting my bets on probably Angelica or Tommy, maybe Chucky though, but those would be the babies I'd expect. And then Avatar, I think will definitely get a rep, almost certainly Zuko. I think he's probably maybe the most likely character out of characters we don't know to be a newcomer. I think Zuko is probably the most likely right now to probably show up, besides Donatello, who I feel like is nearly confirmed by just the existence of Raphael. Anyway, again, despite who we get or who we don't get, in the end, I think this is a really good base roster to be shooting for, and I'm very, very excited and happy to see Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is getting a sequel. Alright, well that's pretty much it. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, I can confirm, is in the works, and these leaks do appear to line up with what I had heard, so I think they're probably legitimate. When this will get officially revealed, I have no idea. I was told maybe end of the summer, but that was definitely just a guess by the person who was telling me that, so I wouldn't take that as factual. It could be a while still before we see this game. Who knows for sure. Anyway, whenever we do see the sequel actually announced, exciting stuff to see these leaks and to know it's happening. What do you guys want for the roster for the sequel? Do you want more characters than what we've seen? Did a favorite character of yours get confirmed by some of these leaks? Let me know in the comments below.
Remember to like the video, leave a comment in the section below, and subscribe to Papa Gino's
Twitter, Patreon, Discord, Twitch.